Just vote?
Yes, our vote is everything. Our
Okay.
vote is our lifeline.
So this is what I call being proactive. People say there's nothing you can do, or there's nothing I can do, or what can I do? Well, sitting on the couch watching Netflix certainly isn't one of the things you can do. This is some of the things you can do. And as you can see, there we go. I like this one right here. Look at there. Uh-huh. 114 in Oregon is a big deal. If you don't know what it is, you got to go out and read this thing. This thing, it wants to take our standard capacity magazines, what they like to call high capacity magazines, but it also wants to put a bunch of infringements on our rights on the Second Amendment. It wants to do background checks and psychological exams and doing things like going and interviewing friends and stuff like that, which is just not how it was intended, in my opinion. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I've lived here all my life, and you can edit it if you like. But we've logged. They've taken logging away from us. We're farmers. They've made an EFU exclusive farmies on rocky soil. They want to start thistles only because they want to contain us. They control us. They burn us out. The thing is that the one thing they know is as long as we have weapons, as long as we have a way of protecting our families, they stay back a little. But once we let them have our weapons, we're gone. Our freedom is gone.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. Speaking of that, since you brought that up, there's something that I think is equally as dangerous as the taking of our Second Amendment rights, and that would be what they're bringing on, the digital currency and the digital banking. So you have no physical cash, in my opinion, to be able to protect yourself against injustices or taking of our rights, and it'll eliminate privacy and control. What do you think about that?
Oh, absolutely. Years ago, back in the 80s, they laughed before they brought the chip in on the credit card. Remember when the chip was on the
Right.
credit card? Well, guess what?
And now we
We're
use
going
it.
to be chipped.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Right.
what now happens.
And
It's for good.
and even if we're not chipped at first, because they won't probably come on that hard, my thought is that people need to understand and realize that once you give up that physical cash or the ability to protect yourself by holding it
Yes.
yourself, that you have really no way to protect your privacy at that point, or and they have all the control over what you do with your money because it doesn't really exist,
Exactly. And they can turn it off.
and they can turn it off. Right. So if we can't buy or sell or whatever, um, uh, because there's no actual cash and they have control of it and can say yes or no, we really don't have control over our lives, in my opinion.
No, we don't. And we're going into what they call a one world order. They talk about it all the time. And the one world order says there will be a one world government of the entire nations. There will be a one world religion, and there will be a one world monetary system.
I would tend to agree with you on that, and they don't really hide it anymore too, because they come right out like on the World Economic Forum, and they basically say, look, our plan for everything is to crowd everybody into little areas. We don't want everybody out and about and having land and stuff. You'll own nothing and be happy.
Yeah.
That's kind of a dangerous statement, in my opinion. That's almost just like, well, it's totalitarian, in my opinion.
It's beyond.
Right.
It is. And if you don't, you know what? I did my term. I'm 74. I did my term paper on Hitler. My dad was in World War II and in Germany. He saw a lot, and so my heart was there. One of Hitler's things was he said, "You give me a child from the time it's 3, and that child will be mine." We've already given our children to the education system, and unfortunately they've been brainwashed. But he said, if you were not trainable, this is Hitler, if you were not teachable, then in a kindly manner you can be eliminated. Isn't that kind for eliminated? And what it means is trainable. I don't care if you're a brain surgeon and I tell you to dig a ditch, you will dig a ditch. And that means trainable. If you're not teachable, meaning if I tell you 2 plus 2 is 5, you will comply and come to consensus, or you will be eliminated.
Right. And you know what's interesting is There was a lady that was in the Holocaust that did a video a while back that I watched, and I can't remember her name right off the top of my head. However, she did describe what happened then and how gradual it was, and how it was brought on as this is for your good and for your rights and safety. You know, just for your safety. You have nothing to worry about us. And then it was, well, we're just going to gather up. You know, you don't need to protect yourself because we're going to protect you. And then it was, well, you know, you don't need all this stuff because we need all this stuff. And then before long, we were being loaded onto trains. And I thought that was a really interesting speech. But, you know, you don't see things like that right on the front of, you know, the news feeds and all of that. They're just reading off of a script, you know. So it's good to hear people that are seeing these things and waking up, and I think it's great. And I think it's also good that people know that here in Oregon, we're not all like it is in Portland or Eugene or whatever. And that's not saying anything bad about our brothers and sisters up there. It's just saying we need to be united because there are some very serious things happening. And I know I saw the sign up there that I'll get to here in a minute about taxes and inflation and everything else that's happening, and a bunch of promises that aren't being kept, and a bunch of things we're not happy with. You know, I mean, I don't know how people can afford to live or buy homes or anything anymore. How do you feel as living here? Do you think things have changed as far as expenses?
Oh, no, not only that, property value has just gone through the roof as far as too. But at the same time, what I was going to say is whenever you said Portland, years ago, and you can edit this if you don't mind.
Oh, I don't edit. That's fine. You say what you want.
There was a very important businessman. Well, I was talking about our farm. I said, they tell us EFU, exclusive farm use. We can't do anything with our farm. 50 years, my husband and I have owned a little 30-acre farm. Can't share it with our children because we can't develop anything on it. We can't build another house. We can't break it up and give it to children. So I said this to this person who was very intellectual. He said, I've seen a map. I said, what does the map say? He says, anything north of Salem, now this is 30 years ago, anything north of Salem is called populous, stackables, homes. That's what they want us, they're populous.
There's already units like that being built in California.
In here too. And anything south of Salem is called hinterland. Look it up. It means undeveloped wilderness. That's why they're bringing in the bear, the wolves, letting the cougars go, and it's already, when a wolf packs the little baby out on the front porch, and they will, that's when they'll think about it. But until that happens, they're letting it go. I know people who've had cattle killed by the wolves right out of Eagle Point.
Right. Look at all this support. I know it's noisy out here, guys. I apologize for that, but I'm hoping you can hear this. We'll find out when it replays. You know, I just thought I'd go live because I saw these people out here, and this is what I'm talking about when I see you guys in chats and stuff. This is getting proactive. This is doing something about it. You may think it doesn't matter, but it does. And then after this, how long does it take to make a phone call to your senators, your representatives and stuff, and give them an earful about things like Measure 114, right? It doesn't take anything at all.
And there isn't a measure, but it's a bill.
A bill, sorry.
No, that she passed an emergency bill number 762.
You heard it said
Wildlife,
Senate bill?
emergency wildlife, and you've got to look it up because that's going to take our property.
762.
762.
We're on that one as well.
Yeah.
Now, I know you guys had to get somewhere because it was getting on 5 o'clock, so I'll let you guys go and do that. Well, it's Rip Curl Readiness, just RIPCURL Readiness on YouTube, and it should come up.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Talk to Mary.
I will.
She's across the street.
Okay, well, bless you guys. Hello. Let's see what we got here. Vote Red Wave. Huh? All right, sounds good. Do you have anything you want to say?
Oh, we've got to win this election. We need to
I agree.
save our country. We need to save America.
I agree. I agree. I couldn't agree more. What are some of the things you're most upset about? Just one thing, say.
Schools.
Schools.
What's being taught in schools? Well, they're attacking our young children. That's my number one concern.
changing the minds of our kids, which is our responsibility, right? Right. Right. And you know, I will say this, to be fair, there's a lot of parents out there these days, and this is how it's been, I think, orchestrated, is the fact that people think that school is a place to raise your kids or to babysit your kids and things like that, and then they get upset if you're not doing that. Now, as a parent, you have an obligation to be involved in your kids' lives, because this is what happens when you don't. You get ideals that may not be the ideals that you and your family believe in, right?
Well, what's wrong is that they've crossed the border. They've
Right.
crossed the line and they're shoving the parents out.
I love it. Listen to all this support you guys are getting.
Isn't that great?
It is great. Sorry about that, guys. I know I got cut off there. I know it's noisy out here. I hope it's doing okay. It's probably buffering because I'm not worried about trigger words or anything like that. These people deserve to be heard. Oh. So you guys are obviously for a Republican this time.
Yes.
Or at least somebody that will do something different than what's being done now, right?
Yes.
What is your major concerns? Yeah, what are the things you aren't happy with right now?
The homelessness.
I agree with that one.
Nothing's been done, and the Democrats have been in power, and they have done. What have they done? What have they done? What has Kate Brown done? How long has she been in that office?
Well, she's managed to lock up our guns, and she's trying to take them away with Measure 114, if that's the one thing you're concerned with. She's also managed to, basically almost crush Oregon, in my opinion, with the lockdowns that she enacted, you know, and other than that, she hasn't done anything really beneficial for Oregon that I can see. What would you think?
I would agree with you.
Right. Now, I think she's done, though. She can't run anymore, right? Right. So now's our time to get it back, right? We need to look at the performance that she's done all that time she was in office and say, we're done. And it's important, I think, that people see that Oregon isn't just Portland. Right, this is a different Oregon. We're in Southern Oregon, by the way, guys. So it is a very different Oregon here. So anyway, I'll walk on over there and see if I can talk with those guys too.
Thank you. I did push the button. It'll take a minute.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping everything's going through. I'm from here. I just live over off that way.
Oh, okay. You're just making videos.
Yeah, well, I have a channel called Rip Curl Readiness. It's RIPCURL, like curly hair, and Readiness. So, oh, there we go. All right, guys, let's see what we got here. Yeah, I would agree with that. Really bad right now. Right. Okay. And look at this, right? Obviously somebody being proactive with their child. That's a good thing. And I hope you don't mind, this is just a live feed. I have a small YouTube channel, but it helps to get it out so people can see that Oregon isn't as blue as it looks. Right, right.
Haven't left us alone.
So, what are some of the biggest things you're upset about?
The erosion of our rights, the suppression of speech, collusion between the federal government and big tech to suppress speech, the private government, the economy, we're working off of a fiat money system where we just keep printing and spending, $14 million to Ukraine now, when we have homeless vets and drug addicts on the street who can't get a bed in recovery centers. We might as well just write a $14 million check to raise me on a caliber.
Now, was that the same one that they did today, or was that, or
Oh, that was like prior to that. Now they've added
yeah, I
more.
think today they went and are trying for another 20-something billion dollars. You know, just a little bit.
It's money laundering.
Well, you know, a lot of people have been saying that. Yeah, I can't disagree with you there. So,
And you know, like I'm all for like helping people, but like when you get on an airplane and the stewardess comes up in a cute outfit and says, you know, the oxygen light comes on and the mask comes down, put your mask on first. We can't help the rest of the world. And we've got, hey, you see Portland, where we're telling our soldiers to go on food stamps because we don't pay them enough. I mean, that's absolutely insane.
yeah, I mean, here we did have, you know, some outbreaks and whatnot, just like everybody else did. That's reality, and it was a real thing that went around, but it wasn't as real as they wanted to make it seem to be. I mean, I am,
Talking about COVID?
yeah, and I'm pure blood, so you know, I haven't been, you know, stuck with anything or anything like that, and you know, it's been through my house twice, and we just treated it with common sense and respect and proper treatments. You know, my better half is in the medical field, so you know, we just, you know, did what you would with anything else, and I haven't caught it yet, and if I do, I think I'm healthy enough to get through it. So
Right, you know, I think that obviously it was horribly politicized, so we could suspend our voting laws and allow for mass mail-in voting, and we saw what happened there.
interesting.
If you go onto the CDC's website right now for COVID treatment, guess what's up there? Ivermectin.
Oh, right, and now they've kind of come out and said that it's not really even an issue anymore, and they don't even think that getting.
Doctors and pharmacists threatened with losing their license over prescribing ivermectin, which has been safe for over 40 years. Why do you develop a global you can't make $39 billion in 1 year from an experimental vaccine if there's a cheap generic drug that helps treat you. So it's all about the money, about the power. It makes me really sad is, man, you know, the left used to be, they used to have integrity when it came to Big Pharma. And Big Pharma killed my natural father 20 years ago. There's a class action lawsuit that's been tied up in courts for that long. They used to understand what a predatory system it was, and it was really sad to see Big Pharma get embraced like that. You know, I think that we need to have medical autonomy. That's huge.
I do think that profits were put in front of people, definitely. Yeah, definitely here. That definitely has happened. You know, and now just to throw it all away and say, well, it's none of that's even valid anymore. So just go back to going the way things were.
Oh my gosh, how many people lost their jobs over that?
Right.
So many people lost their jobs over that.
Right.
So many people, it's a shame. As far as I'm concerned, we need to have Nuremberg 2.0. That was absolutely not. I'm all for it. Oregon is a right to try state, and I've always been proud of that. You know, people have the right to try anything that hasn't been FDA approved. And how do you tell people that they couldn't try hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin, and that the only kind of intervention they were going to give you was a vaccine that doesn't work? It doesn't work. I mean, it's hysterical when you see, like, you know, the Pfizer president. Pardon me, he's got COVID like 4 times now in a handful of months. They're always like, I'm thankful to be vaccinated and triple boosted.
All of the professional athletes and stuff dropping while they're playing games. I mean, there's a lot of things, you know, and I'm not saying that you know, it didn't need, I think it just needed to be looked at closer. I think that they jumped on something way too quickly without even knowing what they were dealing with, or maybe even knowing what they were dealing with. But, you know, in the sense that they knew that this probably wasn't a naturally occurring thing, would be my thought. But that being said, it was done with haste, and it cost people on both sides, in my opinion. And that's why people from both sides right now need to be coming together.
Oh, I just, well, this is the thing. We've seen all the polarization and contention over the last decade, let's say. Okay? They want the people fighting with each other. They want the left versus the right. When I say they, I'm talking about the elites, the people that really pull the strings. So long as folks are fighting each other over ideological differences and race differences and orientation differences and religious differences, we're not paying attention to how badly they're bending us over the barrel. That's the bottom line. So, you know, divide and conquer. That's what we're keeping people at each other's throats. The moment we are truly united, it's game over.
I think that that is a very powerful thing you said, because that is one thing that I truly believe in, is the fact that, you know, we don't always have to see eye to eye on things, and we won't, because that's okay. But when it comes to what's important, and we need to open our eyes and say, what got us here? Well, what got us here is us continually fighting each other over and allowing ourselves to be divided on things that we don't even know if the information was accurate or true even. And even at that, you know, what was for the truly greater good, right? So you know, and I think that's a word we should get rid of too, because it's not just for the greater good; it has to be for everyone. So
until people wise up and realize that it's not against you and me, like, you know, I want to go on record here since live. I 100% believe that like 99% of the people on the other side of the aisle want exactly what I want. We want our kids to grow up in a safe community. We want the freedom to practice our faith however we want to. We want the freedom to live however we want to, identify however we want to. We want to be safe. We don't want our gas to, like, you know, cost us a soul of the newborn. We want the same stuff. And the rest is just details. So frothing at the mouth against us versus them, we're not going to get anywhere. We have to live together. Or we have to live together. So there needs to be some coming together soon. And I think that the masses, so I wasn't a Republican until the COVID stuff hit. That activated me. I was an unaffiliated voter, a liberty-leaning, small L, libertarian. The only person that fought for my medical freedom here locally was the Jackson County Republican Party. Okay, so that they were going to stand up for my medical freedom. I'm on board here, but we can't let the talking heads and the narrative makers destroy communities and relationships. People used to be able to sit down and talk about stuff they disagree with, and they don't anymore, and it's so sad.
Well, this is great. I was just driving by and I thought to myself, you know what? People need to see what Oregon is really like, and what we truly believe in, especially down here in the South, because it isn't like what's represented you know, on mainstream media and stuff like that. We are fairly conservative, in my opinions. Geographically, we just don't, you know, we have, most of the land is conservative, but it just has few people, and it's being controlled by an upper amount of people up in the metropolitan areas, which is what they want in the first place. But and a lot of the decisions are being made that don't work for us down here. And that's why you see things like the Greater Idaho Plan and stuff like that, where
I was in Steve Jefferson proponent for a long time. I think in Southern Oregon and the northern part of California really are similar people, similar us. We've got a lot of non-affiliated voters out here in the valley. In my experience, they tend to lean right or liberty-oriented. And I don't know when the left became fascist, but they became fascist, telling us what to do, how to live our lives. Like, no, we're not cool with that.
Very.
With that around here.
That's a great statement. Well, hey, on that, I'll let you get back to getting everybody honking. I love seeing the support. I'm going to go off over this way, and then I probably have to go pick up my doggo. So,
all right, thank you.
Yeah. All right, you guys, make sure not to stay out in the sun too much. And and it's Rip Curl Readiness. It's RIPCURL, like curly hair. Yep, Readiness on YouTube. Well, yeah, I am. Thank you. Yes, it was nice seeing you guys. My battery's probably about ready to die too. I appreciate you guys' input and what you're doing. It really needs to be done.
The next thing we're going to hit is the sex trafficking that's being overlooked in Oregon.
I love it. I love it. I'll be keeping an eye out for you guys. You'll see me again.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Oh.
Not much longer, kiddo.
See all this, guys? See the support this is? I'm sure it's probably been buffering because, you know, people need to speak their minds. They don't need to be worried about, you know, saying the wrong words or things like that. I mean, yes, if we want to be heard, we kind of have to play that game a little bit, but sometimes we just can't. And we need to say it for what it is. So if it was buffering, I'm sorry. I'm sorry it dropped out once because this is a pretty busy intersection. I hope you could heard it and that I was loud enough. But this shows you all the support, and this shows you how being proactive can get the attention it needs, okay? And this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. So this is what we need to see going on. Oh, I better run. Almost got run over, huh? All right, guys, you stay safe, okay? I'll see you again. All right, guys. Well, I didn't plan this because I just happened to see it. You know what? When you see something like this, you got to pull over and you got to share it. And, I'm almost out of battery and I got to go pick up my doggo. But I hope this was enlightening for you guys. I hope that you can hear it enough. I hope that it gets you thinking, right? And gets you proactive and shows you what being proactive can do. That wasn't a lot of people, but you could hear all the people that were in support of it. So, and I know Northern Girl Hobbies is in here. I saw that, and I know I saw a few others. She knows what this is like. She went out and did it with the truckers, and that is awesome. So, get out there, do something, get active. Next time I go live, I'll make some mods in case there was anybody being disrespectful in here. If they were, and they're being truly disrespectful, well, you can just go ahead and give them a timeout or send them on their way. So, and you guys know the standards that I follow. So, anyway, I got to get my doggo. Until next time, you guys stay safe, stay secure, always be aware of your surroundings, and be getting ready and prepared for anything that may come your way. And if you've got it, wear it. And if you're wearing it, get out to the range, stay dangerous with it, and help, and not only for your safety, but for others. All right, guys, until next time, adios.